feel myself shifting out of victimhood. And something I used to say a lot is, I can't do this. As opposed to, I don't want to do this. I think a lot of us have trouble owning our decisions. And that's the whole reasoning behind saying I can't. Like when somebody asks us to do something or asks us if we want to go somewhere, it's very easy to default to I can't do it, as opposed to I don't want to do it. Out of fear of hurting other people's feelings, out of fear of coming off like a selfish person, because we want to be seen in a great light in other people's eyes, we are still suppressing ourselves by saying I can't. And the energy behind the phrase I can't is victimhood in most cases. Because you're literally saying I have no control over my reality. You're sort of programming your mind to think in that way. That I have no control or no sovereignty over my life. And so I've learned to just own my decisions. When somebody asks me to do something, I just simply say no. Or I just say I'd rather not, or I just say I'm good. And now my no's actually mean no, and my yeses mean yes. Because yes, there are times when we really can't do something, but if you're the type that always says that I can't do something, you're just going to be seen as somebody who just makes excuses and as somebody who maybe is not even trustworthy. Because if you always say I can't, people are going to notice that, and at some point they're going to think that, okay, this person doesn't have the courage to just tell me, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this favor for you. I don't want to go here for you. At some point people are going to pick up on that. And so we have to learn to just be more direct with people and learn how to say no to people. Instead of saying I can't, and even worse than that, we say yes to a lot of things we really want to say no. So, in saying yes, that has more to do with people pleasing than it does victimhood. But that's when I noticed the shift, when I stopped saying I can't do something. Somebody may ask me to hang out, and I would say, I can't, I have to work. I didn't have to work. I'm choosing to work. Like I can choose to take the day off, and, I'll miss getting paid or something like that. But it's still my decision at the end of the day, whether I want to go to work or not. You can say, yes, I have to go to work because I have to pay my bills. I need this job, so I have to go to this job. But we have a choice. We have choices, and there are consequences to those choices. So I can say, I could leave this job if I wanted to, but I just won't be able to pay for this and that, or I'm going to be struggling financially if I leave this job, but I can leave this job. I can stop working. So the result is it's going to be a little rough, when it comes to my finances. So the point is we all have choices, and there are just consequences to those choices. So I just remember being that type that always made excuses because I didn't know how to tell people no. And just saying I can't a lot. I don't think we realize what's happening subconsciously every time we say I can't do something. And so I've gotten out of the habit of doing that. Like I said, just owning my decisions. And when I started to say no instead of I can't do it, I noticed how things shifted. I noticed how my relationship shifted. And I was not attracting the same type of situations. When I started saying no, or just saying I don't want to, as opposed to I can't, there's no explanation needed after that, really. When you say I can't, people are going to be like, well, why? Why? And they'll try to find your reasons around your why. There are times you legitimately can't do something, or you can't be somewhere. I think the problem is more often than not, we don't want to do something, and we just disguise it by saying that we can't do it. I think that's where the problem lies. So we have to learn to kind of, own our decisions and own our words. And if there's something we don't want to do, just be direct and say we don't want to do it. No, I don't want to go here. No, I don't want to help you out. No, I don't want to do this favor or that favor. We just, and it's not to, come off selfish. That's the price that you got to pay for it. But you'll be more trustworthy at the end of the day. When you say no, the times that you say yes, you're going to be believable. Your no's are actually going to mean something. Your yeses are going to mean something. Every time I've said no, there's usually I usually don't have to give a whole lot of explanation. But even so, even if I am prompted to give some sort of explanation as to why I don't want to do something for someone, I'm just very firm with it. So this is how you can shift out of victimhood and step into the creator in you. It's knowing that you have the ability to create whatever kind of life you want for yourself. So this is a lot deeper than just, hurting people's feelings and telling them no. But this is what's happening internally. This is an internal shift you're making by removing the phrase "I can't" from your vocabulary. And just saying either I will do this, I choose to do this, or I choose not to do it. Like I said, we all have choices and there are consequences. There's just choices and consequences. Very rarely can we not do something. We're just going to exclude the most extreme situations, like, we're talking about like life and death situation, or if you have a family member that's in a hospital. I'm not talking about those situations because that's not something that commonly happens. That's not usually the reason that we say that I can't do something. It's usually something within our means and we're just choosing not to do it. Or we're just scared to say no, so we say I can't do it. So when I started saying no instead of I can't, I felt like I had more respect for myself, and I got more respect from other people. And maybe they may not like me that much or care the most for me, because I'm being more upfront. But I'm getting my respect at the end of the day, and I'm just being authentic at the end of the day. And this is going to affect the type of relationships that you attract and the type of friendships that you attract. And it's also like a weeding out process. You get to find out who respects your no's and who respect those boundaries that you have in place. It's going to filter out a lot of people when you're very clear on what you want and what you don't want, what you stand for, what you don't stand for. You start to attract the right relationships. So we have to be very firm on our decisions, on the decisions that we make, and very firm on where we stand. Because if you're always saying yes, because I was the guy, I was the yes man. If you're always a yes man in your relationships, at some point the people around you, they're going to notice that this guy never disagrees with me. He never tells me no. I remember being in this relationship over 10 years ago. I was dating my partner for about almost 2 years. I remember saying, I don't know who you are. And I was puzzled by that. So I was dating this person for almost 2 years. I remember him telling me that. I don't know who you are. I never forgot about that. I think deep down I knew what that meant, but at the time I had a hard time saying no, and I was just very compliant, and I think that's what he was talking about. Like, if you never say no, if you never set boundaries, if you never state your opinion on something or stand firm on some things, if you're not like disagreeable, there's no definition to you. People don't know what you like, what you don't like. They don't know your views on something. They won't really know. They'll never get to know who you truly are if you don't tell people no sometimes. So you have to say what you mean and mean what you say at the end of the day. And I've gone a little bit off topic here, but my main point was we have a lot more control over our reality than we think. And we're not just victim of circumstances. We got to stop saying that we can't do this or I can't afford this, and this is how we get out of victimhood. So I encourage you to make this shift. If you have a hard time saying no to people, I challenge you to make the shift and stop using the phrase "I can't," or at least see what's the reason behind it. You know, when you say "I can't do something," is it because you truly can't do it, or is it because you don't want to do it and you're just too scared to say "I don't want to do it"? For me, it was the latter. It was the case of I didn't want to do something, but I didn't really have the courage to really say, no, I don't want to do this favor for you. No, I don't want to go here. Out of fear of what people were going to think of me. So I finally have broken past that fear. I feel like I've kind of broken past like the first couple of walls of that fear, that need for that validation from other people. And it just kind of frees up all this energy. So I think that's pretty much all I wanted to touch on. And I end it right here.